Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thanks again for joining us here on SketchUp on this wonderful Thursday evening. We've got a special lineup here for you tonight. We have Jean-Paul Deshong, James Dopplehammer, and Michael Odin, and we're going to be catching up with them and seeing what they got going on. So don't go away. We'll be right back after this short station identification. Once again, thanks again for joining us here on SketchUp. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that follow button. Help us increase our followers so that we can continue to bring you original shows like Kicking It with Henri, the live shopping show every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 p.m. Eastern. And there's not going to be a giveaway tonight. We got some serious players tonight that we're going to be talking to. So we want to get down to this. First up, we have Jean-Paul Deshong. Did I say that right?
You got it right.
All right. Thank you for that. And where are you at? Where are you at?
I'm on the East Coast. East Coast. Yep.
East Coast. Okay. You're not. Are you getting affected by that storm that is hitting Ohio?
No, not at all. It rained all week.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Great. Michael. How's it been,
Hello.
Michael?
It's
Michael's been on our show before, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think it's been. Last time I was on was for the Race 2, and then prior to that was Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit, which kind of brings things, full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you brought Elysian, we were doing that. I believe that was that 101, 101 Tales, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a special thing that we did during COVID before we started SketchUp here on the Experience, right? So, and that was a fun thing that allowed us to get to know you and your projects. And you're back here because you relaunched Elysian Fields, right?
Yep, complete reboot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we're gonna take a look at that, right, and see what that's about. And then we have James Dopplehammer. Did I say that right? Your name?
Yeah, you did. Well,
okay.
Good to see you guys again.
And yeah, well, you too. We just met James. Was that at Emerald City?
Yeah, it was at Emerald City.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's right. And because you had done a cover for Justin on Ninja Witch, right?
Yeah.
And
that was,
we started on
my first cover.
That's right. And that's your first published cover. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then, did you do any more covers for Ninja Witch, or was that just that one?
I ended up doing 3 of them for them, and they were all different variants that were published in the same run.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Mog had done the first 4, all variants as well. So yeah. And that was a nice little book. It would have been nice to stay on there longer, but oh well. That's how the ball rolls in this business anyway. All right. So let's get down to James. Sean. I'm sorry. I got another friend that's named Sean here, so I'm getting it kind of like mixed up. Jean-Paul. Are you an artist?
Yeah, I'm an illustrator.
Do you draw?
Independent comic creator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a writer.
Yeah.
Right.
My graphic novel series, Sons of Fate, I did everything. Yep. Wrote it, colored it.
Right. So tell us about that. It's called Sons of Fate.
Yeah. It's a action adventure drama about a samurai who gets marooned in the shores of Africa, ends up training a young boy in ways of Bushido, and through circumstances I won't say part of the story, the child ends up going to Japan and becomes one of the key catalysts in the forging of the Tokugawa shogunate. And the story itself is the real reason why Japan closes doors to the rest of the world for 200 years, and what history didn't tell us. In a nutshell.
Wow.
Okay. Now, I didn't get any of that. And it's not your fault, but it's I think it's probably on my end. It just came all garbled, just not having a good connection, right? How long have you been working on that?
I finished the series. I would say maybe like 2 years ago. Actually working on the new series now. You guys can hear me, okay?
I can hear you. I
You're
think
great.
Mel's breaking off or something.
Okay. Yeah, just want to make sure. Working on a new series now, but it took me a couple of years. Finished that up. I'm gonna say 2019. I released a prequel series, which kind of wraps everything in a nice bow. So yeah, currently I'm working on some new stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
Can you hear okay, Mel? Because maybe you need a reset.
Yeah, I think he's resetting.
Too. Okay, I'll take over. Oh, such pressure. Okay, so what was that part about? He teaches the boy about Bushido
Yes.
and something about geographically they're actually closer. What was it again?
The samurai gets marooned in the shores of Africa, and he ends up a child there who lives there in the ways of Bushido, and then the child ends up. I won't explain why because it'll ruin the story for those who are interested. But he ends up going to Japan many years later, and he becomes a key catalyst in the forging of the Tokugawa shogunate in Japan. So the story serves as the real reason why Japan closed its doors for 200 years during the Tokugawa shogunate period until Matthew Perry came some 200 years later.
This is like fictionalized history then. Like,
yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's a historical fiction. Yeah.
So did you end up doing a lot of research in what part of Africa?
Absolutely. It's more of the where the tribe ends up is more of where the story ends up. But the tribe is from central, I would say, Central Africa, more southern Central Africa. But the story takes place kind of by Madagascar. I did years of research in Japanese history and lore just to get everything right. And so far, I haven't heard anything since. I've heard praises, but everything seems to have worked out in terms of the research I committed. So far, so good.
That actually would be a wonderful combination because depending on what region, I don't know much about all of Africa's regional cultural, background and stuff history, but I'm guessing some regions are more warrior type of culture.
Right. Right.
So is there a specific reason why you chose Central, you said South?
The tribe that the child is from the Yoruba tribe, and that's where I had them where they're essentially from, but I had them branch off to coincide with the story of the samurai being marooned, but not going specifically to inland. So for the story's sake, I had them on the edges, which is not necessarily where they're from, but story-wise, it fits why they are there.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But either way, you guys are like that is such an interesting, strange, like mashup. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is that your first story you ever did, or is there other stories you did before that?
Yeah, it's my first independent story. Yep. Absolutely.
That means you must have worked on this, at least a good 10 years? Compilation?
The first, the writing it was a couple of years before I started working on it. I was in the industry. So I was working for like Zenoscope and Dynamite and stuff like that. And it was all pretty much written. Say the first page of the first volume of the first series. I started January 1st, 2014. So technically, yeah, we're past the decade mark, but I finished it up in the teens still. So
that is so cool.
Thank you.
That is so cool. Anyway, guys, I see the comments that you guys are writing. I really appreciate that you guys really enjoyed you received all the packages that Mel finally. Thank you so much for liking it, Mike, Chris, DVB. Really, really appreciate that you guys are enjoying the products, enjoying the art as well. So anyway, let's move to Michael Odin. I think we didn't get to you. Your last but not least, our special guest. I know you've been on our show a couple times, but I would like you to kind of like reintroduce yourself a bit for people who never seen, being here.
That's more than fair. So, I mean, as stated, my name is Michael Odin. I've been in the indie comics game for 5 years at this point.
Yeah.
Started my own publishing imprint back in 2020. Had a couple of successful campaigns out the gate with Elysian Fields issue 0, and then its follow-up Pyramid Gambit, which technically successful, but didn't do as well as I had hoped. Then I ended up creating a character called The Embrace, which really connected with people, and that kind of kept me going in the indie scene for a bit. Since then, I have worked on probably 9 projects.
Wow.
Like that. It's been a lot.
That's still really prolific. When you say 9 projects, are you talking about
between writing and editing, I've been on since I've started, I've been on 9 books. I would say, and then recently I decided to reboot my original series, Elysian Fields, and that's been a pretty crazy journey. And that's actually how I met Mog in the first place. Was I was promoting Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit, and she did these 3 beautiful painted metal sketch cards that we ended up raffling as part of the campaign. Were phenomenal.
Thank you.
But man, that was ages ago. It's crazy because I got a memory a while back of you guys unboxing your copy of Pyramid Gambit and sharing it out, which was really cool.
But either way, we actually met during COVID, virtually, right? So yeah, that's something. But anyway, your reboot for Elysian Fields, it's looking really dope.
Yeah,
the interior artist, what a difference!
Oh man, so when I started, obviously I was very self-taught and everything, and so I didn't have a lot of knowledge, I didn't have a lot of experience in terms of going out there finding art talent or even doing really any art direction. And I've worked on a lot of books as I said, in multiple different capacities, and so I've learned a lot about the industry. And so when I decided I was going to reboot, I decided that I really wanted to overhaul the story in every way possible. And one of the biggest ways I could do that was getting a new art team that could redefine the aesthetic of the book and really bring it to life in a beautiful and unique way. And I think at the time I was doing this, I was actually doing a playthrough of Joe Mad's hit Darksiders video game franchise. So I was playing one of those games, and I was like, you know what? If I got an art team that had a kind of similar aesthetic to Joe Mad, this could really hit the right vibe that we're looking for doing with this epic battle book. Because that's obviously at its basic level, Elysian Fields is Mortal Kombat with heroes of mythology, right? It's just epic fights, and that's what we end up playing with. So it's been a real blast seeing the story evolve in the way that it has, in both how I've written it on the page, because I went back and completely stripped this thing bare and rebuilt it. There are some of the bones.
What made you do that though?
You know,
Are you the type? Are you the type where you just like, I don't know? The same question for you, John. John Paul. I hope you can answer this after Michael does.
Sure.
Are you the type where once you finish it, and also James, by the way, you too. Like, do you go back and like, oh, this looks bad. I'm gonna redo it again and like revamp. Like, what are you guys? Let's start with Michael.
I think what it was for me was, as I said, you know, I had some real success the first book, and the second book, we funded and everything, but I lost a lot of money, and I didn't really feel like I had the same level of support. And so I had focused on other projects. And it wasn't until about a year and a half ago where I had a couple of people asking me what was going on with Elysian Fields that I even realized that there was any interest really in what I had done. And by that point, you know, the series wasn't in line with who I was as a storyteller, and wasn't on the like it on par with the other things that I had been producing at that point. And so it was just a whole thing. It was like, if I'm going to go back to this, I'd rather just start fresh and rebuild. Because when I went back and looked, you know, I think that the big thing that convinced me was after getting those questions, I had posted the original series up on Webtoon, and we had over 4,000 reads, 100 people subscribed to it, and an average user rating of 9.78 out of 10.
Okay.
So there was clearly something worthwhile there, but like it was just a whole thing of, between all of the projects that I've worked on, all of the things that I've done, that vision of the story no longer felt like it was something that I would do. It didn't feel organic to who I was as a creator at this point. So I decided, okay, it's time to start from scratch and rebuild.
Okay. All right. So what about you, Jean?
I mean, in the process of making the book, I do that. I haven't gotten to a point yet, not to rule it out, that I look at something when it's done and then after it's been released and kind of revamp it. I'm not against that at all. I think and I think under your circumstances, Mike, I think that was fine. I would just say that, you know, I'm the type that, how can I'm working on a panel right now. Like, I'm on a page right now that is the third attempt on that page. So it's literally the third page. I was doing breakdowns before we even logged on. After you guys are done, I'm going to go back and finish those breaks. It is. I usually try to like go to bed and sleep on it, forget about it in my head, and then go whether I read or I write it, and then kind of see where that is. So that's more my process. So if it takes 1,000 takes, it takes 1,000 takes. I don't ever reach that number, but if that's where it is, that's where it is, because I imagine I got to live with it once it's done. So
interesting. So I think both of you guys can kind of do that because it's your own personal project, right? Yeah. Versus if it was for a commercial, it's kind of hard, right? So it's just gonna go.
Yeah. Well, the editor, right? Editors will tell you if their stuff is okay. Now, in terms of tutorial, I put out stuff that I would have done the other way in some cases. Yeah. It didn't happen often. But it was work for hire.
Yeah.
Deadline, it was some kind of circumstance where what I did was fine. And I would imagine part of that feeling was what made me go, I want to do my own independent stuff. I wanted to be able to have say in what gets done and doesn't. And
I get you.
Because it just whatever the decisions get made in terms of my experience fell on the artist more than anyone else.
Yep. I agree. Okay, James, what about you?
I was going to say, I completely agree with what Jean Paul was saying. I tend to, when I'm creating something, I like to sleep on it. Just so I could get a better idea of there's something I missed, or just a better way of doing it. And I usually do that at like the pencil process. Once I get done with the pencils, then I'll kind of do that with the painting. I'm not in like that same aspect of what they're doing, where they're writing and doing their own comics. I eventually want to get there, that'll be something cool to do. But for now, I'm just just still. I feel like I'm still building up my portfolio, and I feel that I'm just kind of creating new pieces and just building on that. Yeah.
I wonder if all of you guys are actual like what type A, blood type A.
I'm not going to disclose that.
My blood type is because you have to know. Because in fact, like say you got into an accident, this is one of the things cultural shock I got. I'm from Korea, okay? So I come over here to US and I ask my friends, classmates, what's your blood type? Like, I don't know. How can you not know? Like, we all have to know because
American perspective.
So like I absolutely do know my blood type. I was in the Army for 6 years. I was an infantryman. So like I know my blood type. I'm just not gonna put that up.
I've been told mine, I forgot. I do not remember.
How can you not care? If something accident happens where your child is like died and they're like, we need your blood. Like, oh my god, what blood type is this? Like, I know.
I know my blood type. I know my son's blood type. So I was an infantryman for 6 years, and one of my specialties in the line was I was our combat lifesaver guy. So like when it came down to providing immediate triage to wounded guys, like that was what I did. Was I would help guys get set up before a medic would come and render like full on care, and I would do the initial evaluation so that way we could get a 9 lineup and get a medevac in. So like that's something that from an Army standpoint, everyone's got to know that, and then it's also written on your dog tag is that you've got your blood type there.
I was just about to say that.
Okay.
Yeah. So how many military guys are in the room? We got Mel. Mel is what, Navy, right?
Army.
Army? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was Army also. Yeah.
Oh.
What branch, James? What MOS, James?
I was a 15 uniform, so Chinook mechanic.
Nice.
Yeah. So you probably flew on my aircraft, depending on when you were in.
Well, that's the weird thing is, like for Korea, the ID, the blood type has to be printed on it too. For us in Korea, it's interesting. Either way, I mean, I'm totally comfortable. I'm the most common one. I'm blood type A. So just letting you know. John Paul, I don't know you.
I'm gonna go find out. You guys guilted me. I'm gonna go find out tomorrow.
How you find out? You have to actually prove yourself.
I'm gonna doctor on like speed dial, and he'll answer my call, and I can ask him because I could, and I'm gonna do that tomorrow. If I'm ever back, that's the first thing I'm gonna let you guys know what my blood type is. And,
you know what? So Mog doesn't feel alone. I'm A negative.
Oh, so see, I knew it. I bet you it's gonna come out. We're all 18.
I will definitely let you guys know. What things I didn't expect from this is one of them. I wasn't expecting to be
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you didn't do anything wrong. You might have done something very good for me.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you just say somebody.
Yeah, making me aware.
Your wife needs blood. What's your blood type? You're like, oh, I'm A.
You got to know these things.
Yeah.
Take my blood. Yeah. But anyway, James, do you have anything? What are you drawing today? Are you gonna sell anything?
Yeah, I got a few things. Let me show you what I'm working on now. That way I can transition my camera so it's not like on my face anymore.
Okay. James is like, I just want to be away from the camera and I want people to see my pretty drawing.
Oh, I think Mel's gonna join us because it's not working out for him.
My phone went into an automatic update.
You know these things? I'll show you Mel here. You know these things? So
Mel, you are not joining StreamYard
from an automatic update, so that's why I haven't been able to get on as quickly as I wanted to.
Anyway, look at James Dopplehammer.
Goblin Queen.
Is it Goblin Queen? Man.
Yeah.
What is that? What size is that, yo?
7x10? 7x10, yeah. Look at Mel. You figured it out right away. Was that Mel or someone else?
This is Jean Paul. I'm right here.
I've been collecting comics for 50 plus years. So, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna paint it too.
Yeah, I'm planning on painting. I'm debating on inking or not. That's where I'm at now. Is like
Yeah.
sometimes I like to ink them, and sometimes I don't want to paint them, or sometimes I'll paint it after or ink it after I'm done painting.
Okay, so what's your starting bid on this one? Do you have a starting bid that you want to try? Most of the time, it always starts. The minimum we start is 50. You can go higher than as long as
or lower. It all. Some people start at 5. Some people start at 50.
I don't think we've ever had anybody start at 5.
Cap.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
what you feel.
Yeah.
If you don't want to sell it, you want to show this for somebody else, that's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe 100 for this one.
Okay.
Especially if I'm gonna ink it and color it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also have. Let's see. I did a storm the other day to prep for you guys.
Woo! Oh,
That's
you want to sell
freaking
this?
vicious,
Want to put it
man.
up?
Nice.
Yeah, we wanted to auction this one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm thinking for this one, 150.
Okay. Oh, what size was it again?
The 7x10.
10? Nice. Okay.
All right. So you got 150 for Storm and 100 for Goblin Queen.
Starting bid.
Okay.
Okay.
What about Jean-Paul?
My absolute Wonder Woman. I'm thinking once it's done, let me get this done. I'm just maybe starting about 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really amazing. Okay. You're already inking it too. Oh, it's actually brushing.
I did a quick sketch, and yeah, that lays down all the work. So it's just putting in the stuff in now. It's
And what are you working on, Mog?
I'm gonna do this X-Men sketch cover of Emma Frost, White Queen. It's a Savage Land type of theme. So she is, you know how she does mind control. So I was thinking over there when she's there, she's not gonna dirty herself. She's gonna mind control these animals around her, to bring all the stuff. So I thought Raccoon is the best animal with the bandit, the criminal-minded type of the psychology. So she's already creating a criminal organization in Savage Land.
But take note, okay? Savage Land, those are not creatures I think are in Savage Land.
I know, but they're so cute.
And they don't look at all.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of.
It's rule of cool. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or even if it looks good.
All right, guys. So if you want to bid on any of that, you can go ahead and do so in the comments.
Oh, what's this?
And on that note,
yes, let's take a break.
We were going to take a short break, and we will be right back, and we will get down to business.
According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below.
Live from New York. What? Oh, sorry. Live from Cleveland? It's Friday night? It's Friday Night Live! With Nancy McCann. And Ricky. And sometimes Carlos. And featuring boxes and boxes of rare comics. Unique collectibles. Lots of smiles and conversations with new friends. Friday Night Live with Comics Unlimited. Friday night from 9 to 11 on The Experience. FOC, a comic industry term for the final day a new comic can be ordered by a local comic shop. So, what does that mean to you? Well, it's your last chance to order a new comic book from your local comic shop. Order up! The FOC show will go over every book that's about to be cut off every Friday afternoon.
I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that I think is really worth paying attention to,
so that you can put in an order at your LCS for as many copies or as many variant covers as you want.
Sometimes the store needs to know to up their orders.
Never miss out on a popular comic again. Order up, part of the experience.
Well, I thought Michael was going to run the show.
Oh, cool. I can do that. Do you need me to? What are we doing?
You're back on screen first, and I go, oh, okay, this is cool.
Michael's taking control. Nice.
All right. Okay, so we have James working on Goblin Queen, and we are looking for a starting bid of $100 on that. And he also showed the what was that again?
The Storm.
Okay.
Storm.
And we're looking for
nice.
What was it? Oh, starting was that 150.
That was 150.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we have Amazon Wonder Woman starting at Absolute Wonder Woman starting at 100. And your I know you call it Savage Land, but for me it's more like Fairy Tale Emma Frost.
Actually, yeah, let's do it that way. Let's say Fairy Tale.
I don't know. Yeah.
But she's kind of torn up.
Pretty much, it's the White Queen. All right, and that's we're looking for a bit of 150 on that. Okay, so, and I'm sorry that I missed the first half hour of this. I couldn't hear anything.
You know what Kenneth actually said a pretty good compliment.
Okay.
He said, "This is the first time ever Mog is on rail." But I don't know. I might have ruined it when I asked about their blood types.
Okay. All right. So Sean Paul.
Yeah.
The name of your company is Blackberry Juice, right?
Yes.
What?
Blackberry Juice.
I understand Blackberry, but what is there something particular about that name that why you chose that?
You know, it's funny. You're not the first person to ask me that, and the answer to that is no. I just liked it. I just came up with it. There's no relevance towards anything, any experience I've had. It just kind of popped in my head, and I'm starting to think I should have gave that more thought because people were like, "So what does that mean?" And I'm kind of like, "I don't know."
Yeah, I feel like there's some kind of hidden meaning back there.
We got Michael to brainstorm with us. Let's do it. Let's make a backstory. Okay, you're a child, 6 years old. You got hurt really bad, and then your grandma.
Oh my God!
Gave you blackberry juice and you never had it the first time.
This is the refreshing beverage that changed my life, and now you have to.
Yeah.
Now you experience it through my art. What?
And then you see you were going severe blood loss and you didn't know your blood.
Oh my God.
And then you found out that your grandmother blood type and yours is not right, so you might be adopted. And the shock of that was blackberry juice staring. She tried to hide it, and you give blackberry juice, and you loved it so much. I don't know. I'm making stuff up right now. Sorry.
His blood type is blackberry juice.
I think that's the Lord.
Yes, that's gotta be what it is.
So do you like blackberries?
I actually do. But
yeah, I love blackberries. I actually have some in my fridge right now, and I can't wait for this time of the year because they're more readily available and the price comes down.
Right.
Yeah, but I love blackberries.
Yeah.
Can you? I didn't hear this, so can you tell me briefly again what Sons of Fate is?
Action adventure drama about a samurai who gets marooned on the shores of Africa after his He was sequestered by the up and coming shogunate to establish trade routes to the west, and he spends decades out there. And he's on his way home after finishing the final trade route. He gets marooned in the shores of Africa because his route is being plundered by bandits. So he has his navigator re-navigate a new way around, or the long way around, and they hit with disaster. He ends up being a lone survivor. He ends up training a boy. I rather say the child impresses on him in a way I can't give out because that's part of the story. He decides to train the child in the ways of Bushido. And in terms of the story, the child ends up going to Japan and becomes a key catalyst in the forging of the Tokugawa shogunate. And the story itself serves as the real reason why Japan closed its doors to the West for 200 years, and what history basically didn't tell us.
So it's sounds like it's kind of loosely based on the Black Samurai that they actually had there in history. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. Yes and no. Well, what happened was in my research, because I didn't know he existed, and in my research, I found out that Yasuke did exist, and his story was my story was already written and ready to go. Like I had the plot. I was just going in through the kernels of making sure the culture was correct. Yeah. And I found out there was another one who came over. A lot of people ask me, how come I didn't do Yasuke? My answer is really simple. The story I wanted to tell was something that I wanted to be. Well, okay, so in my research, there are things that Yasuke was part of and sides he was on that I didn't want to do. Historically, he's on the side of Nobunaga. Nobunaga isn't seen as a hero of the Japanese history. There wasn't much history about him, and I didn't want to write anything that eventually would get dug up to find out that it was incorrect. I thought the original story would be better. So my character is totally fictional, although some characters in the story are actually real characters, in places and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't know about him until I went and found out, until I was doing research, and it was afterwards I saw that.
I actually, for what it's worth, Jean-Paul, I think that you made the right call. I think that one of the big things about Yasuke is there is way more ambiguity to him than a lot of people realize, because the record is so nominal. The record on Yasuke amounts to, I think it's like a page and a half that has like 3 or 4 paragraphs that mention him. And whether or not he was a samurai is a matter of immense debate within the historical community, because there are certain aspects where he absolutely could, but then the term samurai is never actively applied to him. And then on top of that, at the end of the Tokugawa, at the end of all of that, when Nobunaga is defeated, he is not forced to commit seppuku. He is actually given back to his original slavers, and you could make an argument that if the Japanese saw him as a samurai, he would have been forced to commit that as Nobunaga was his liege lord. So like there's a lot of things that I think could have gone against you on that.
I agree.
And I think doing the completely original character was 100% the right way to go.
It's also,
I agree.
Something completely new.
Has to do with caste systems too. So is my character a samurai? My answer to that is no, absolutely not. Being born into a house and into the caste system plays into the part of the actual story, especially the prequel. And there were stories I wanted to tell individually that aligned culturally to what was going on. And like I said, in finding out who Yasuke was, and there wasn't much to tell, and he wasn't on the right side of what historically you would want to be on in terms of telling your story, I wasn't interested. I get it. But it was a little too on the nose. Number one. Number two, there wasn't much about him to write. I didn't want to make something up about somebody. I might as well have made something about my own character. So
no, I think I think that really plays into your story's strength, and I'm actually very intrigued to see the direction that you take. I'm definitely going to be checking this out because I was looking at your website here, and the art for this thing is drop dead gorgeous, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
crushed it.
I saw that too, and I liked it. And that's one reason why we had approached you, Jean-Paul, because we did like what we saw, especially for me, because I do like stuff about samurai. And if anybody, for the rest of you who's watching, if you don't know too much and you want to kind of get a little bit of a flavor and taste of this, Netflix has kind of like a decent series on it called the Battle of Japan. So it kind of gives you the history of the samurai, and that's a good place to start. You know, you want to, especially if you just want to have something that you're listening to in the background while you're doing something else.
Yeah,
but yeah, really good stuff. Very interesting.
Like watching Shogun, I saw like the original Richard Chamberlain Shogun when I was little. That had on me. I grew up on Shaw Brother and Blind Swordsman movies. So when I decided to do my own stuff, I just drew from what I loved.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
When they announced that they were going to do this new Shogun, I was going, "Oh man, why are they doing that?"
The new one's still really good, though. The new one's really freaking good.
Yes, freaking pulled it off, man. I was glued to my seat watching that new series. Man.
I'm scared though. They're doing a second season.
The one thing that gives me hope on that, and it's not a major thing, but it's how much reverence they had for the original book, and they're working with the author's estate to make sure that nothing that they do in the second season feels out of line to what would have potentially happened if he had continued. Like it's weird because you can't say if he had continued those books because he technically did,
King Rat was right.
He had a bunch of different books that were all a part of this series, but they were during completely different periods and different settings,
right?
And they weren't connected.
Yeah.
So like it's very much a thing of I'm intrigued to see what they do with season 2. I hope that they don't undercut it. I think my only complaint with season 1 was no epic battle sequence at the very end. I was just like, oh, come on. You guys got all these extras together, have all the beautiful armor, you've got everything, and we don't get the big climactic battle. Come on.
When this thing started, I was waiting for a big epic battle, and there were some moments where I thought it was going to
building up to it too. Right?
And I thought, okay, we're going to see some of it here, and it's not quite.
You're building up effectively to the Battle of Sekigahara, and nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Fine. I see how it is.
Love the performances.
I
think everybody just did a really, really good job.
It was well appraised too. Like it did well in the award scene. Everybody got their due. I say to what you wanted to see. I be grateful because so many times you get the battle you want, you miss the whole story. Like you got the better of what you would have gotten the other way around. Like
I do not disagree with that. It was just one of those things where if you wanted to stand apart from the original, that was the way to do it, was to and they had all of the resources to pull it off. It was just one of those things where I was like, God damn it.
I mean, you're probably going to get that in the second one. We're probably going to get that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't fret too hard. Let's just hope they don't, I hate to say it, Cowboy Bebop it.
Yo, don't put that out there into the ether. Don't you dare Cowboy Bebop.
I'm sorry. It's like, that's a thing now. That has become its own.
Oh God!
When I say it, everybody knows what I'm.
Why would you do that, Jean-Paul?
Well, I'm talking about don't mess with perfection.
I understand, but like you could have gone with Don't Serenity It, and then you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's fair. The same kind of deal, but at least like Serenity is like decent.
I
It just doesn't have,
Serenity.
Yeah.
Okay.
it doesn't have the same charm as Firefly, but it's a decent sci-fi flick.
Right.
Cowboy Bebop the movie is just, it hurts to watch, and we don't talk about it. It doesn't exist.
Hold on, are we talking about Cowboy Bebop the movie or Cowboy Bebop the live action?
I was talking about the live action one.
Okay.
I mean, I ignore that exists entirely.
I think I watched a little bit of the first episode, and I said, "Well, that's it. I'm done."
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
It was hard.
I just couldn't do it.
But again,
I had fun with it.
I can accept Cowboy Bebop.
Actually, Serenity I could accept.
Yeah.
It was some kind of closure. I would, I don't know what's coming. At least you don't know until you see the closure ending. It was good, but.
No, what do you think about or is this even real? The new samurai movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Huh?
No.
Musashi.
Are they doing a Musashi movie?
Really? That'd be cool.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen stuff for it. I just don't know if it's real. I haven't.
You know what they need to do? There was a novel written like a while back called Child of Vengeance, which is about Musashi, and like that book is one of like the hardest books that like that book goes freaking insane. The opening of that book was like gut wrenching, and I was like, this is really good. But
you said it was called Child of Vengeance.
Yeah, Child of Vengeance.
I'm gonna definitely check that out.
I mean,
I think I remember that one.
Look,
like I'm blanking on who wrote it, but like it's one of the best samurai books I've read. It's really good.
Okay, because the original, the Musashi, the fiction that became popular. That one, I actually had the privilege to read it translated into Korean, and it's like about, I think it was about at least like 8 or is it 18 or something. It was like a long ass saga, and each book is like this thick. And then after that, while that was it that guy who did was that
what?
The famous manga who became very famous for doing basketball. The basketball manga. Well, he did Vagabond, which is about Musashi.
Yeah.
Vagabond is amazing.
Yeah.
That's basically Musashi story.
Yeah.
But interpreted more, for modern taste. For modern because if you read the real literature, it's very like it could be dry, but
like if you're reading Book of Five Rings and stuff, like
right.
Yeah.
It's did you guys see the Onimusha TV show on Netflix? That's Musashi, and he gets basically the Onimusha gauntlet. They take the Musashi story, they make Musashi the antagonist. It's really good. He's the protagonist. He's not the
antagonist. I know I've heard of it. I didn't put the relation.
Isn't this? But isn't Onimusha? Isn't that like fantasy?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, they took it was a video game, and they took the story.
Right.
Capcom took the story and they adapted it to where Onimusha, Musashi is old. He's old.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. Yeah, I remember that now. And it was a pretty hot game when it came out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie was the show was good.
But I don't know
people in his historically fights. So they took history and they adapted it to their story, while making it kind of a story you haven't heard of through Masashi Miyamoto, one of Musashi's missing adventures. It was an interesting take. It's really good.
Okay.
And I'm watched it. Like I'm a big Musashi fan, and anything they do about it, I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna give it a try. I was pleasantly surprised. I was excited that they were doing it. I hope they didn't kill it. They didn't. It was good. If you guys got Netflix, check it out. It's still there. Onimusha World.
Onimusha. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let me bring this back a little bit. I mean, love this subject. Probably go all night for it, and probably would want to. So Jean-Paul.
Yes.
you got Sons of Fate. And you're working. You said on a new series.
Yeah, I'm working on a new series. It's going to be the spiritual successor of Sons of Fate. The series I tend to create will be connected to the same world, although it's a drastically different story. But there are elements that are going to be of the you will recognize where it fits in the universe.
Okay, so that's kind of like your universe, the Deshong universe that you're putting all
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm working on that now. That's what I was talking about earlier about I'm on a page where I'm doing it for the fourth time. For the third time, we'll probably go to a fourth.
Perfectionist, are you?
Say again. Well, we had a conversation about with the process of getting your stuff done, and when you do it, are you willing to, if it needs be, would you go back and fix it? I am sympathetic to that. It is I want to make everything I do. I want the next one to be better than what I did previously. So I tend to, I mean, in my experience in the industry, like I said earlier, if it falls upon me that it was a mistake or it didn't come out right, it needs to fall upon me where I made a decision, which is kind of why I started doing my own stuff in the first place. I think that ultimately it's on us as creatives to kind of put out the best work you can do. If that means you do it 1,000 times, then so be it. That's the job. As long as you're happy with it, I would say too. I don't think it's a matter of pleasing others in terms of, because then you never kind of get to a place where you're okay with your own work, or you get to a place where your work's good enough. It's always to what someone else thinks. So
is this going up on a Kickstarter? Is that how you get your book?
I imagine the first book, I usually do a Kickstarter run, being that it's just another market. I do a Kickstarter run that is exclusive to Kickstarter, and then I release it, to the general public, which is basically the general version of it.
Okay. And so what is your goal with, do you do this full time?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I started to once Sons of Fate came, and Sons of Fate was the decision to go at it in a way that was going to be my bread and butter of what I do. I mean, I was doing the industry stuff before, and I was able to make a living of it.
Okay.
I had good experience.
What were you doing?
I did stuff for Dynamite. I did Damsels for Dynamite. I did a ton of stuff for Zenoscope. I did some early image stuff for a couple 2010s, early 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, somebody comes into a con and hands me a book I forgot I did. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I did do that. Or I see something on Google that I'm like, yeah, I did do that. And go in my closet and I actually find a comp copy. I mean,
what times do you normally go to?
I'm East Coast, so I do a lot of East Coast stuff. I do San Diego. I don't go every year, but I try to get there at least every other year. So I skipped this year. I'm trying to go this year. Yeah, basically, I need to. I'll say this already, guys. I'm a hobbit. Like, I stay at home. I'm if Bilbo Baggins was an artist, like, that's me. Like, I tend to find reasons to stay home and work. Clearly, as you guys can hear, I like to talk. So I'm not a person who doesn't go out and meet people, and I can, not get. I'm not in the corner not talking. Nothing's wrong with that. But I try to find. I've come to find the fact that I need to go out there and do more networking, reaching out, and stuff like that. And I like to do it. So it's not that, but when it comes to work.
So what is your favorite show to do?
I don't have one.
Okay.
I don't. A lot of my friends are at all the shows. As long as I get to see people I like, comic book people are amazing. Whether you're a fan or you're in the field, I've had rarely run into a person I didn't like or who was abrasive in any way or form. So I really don't have a preference, because a lot of my friends go to all the shows, and the ones that don't go to one go to the other. So I get a nice mix of seeing everybody. It's very much a, hey, I'm out the house, I want to see my friends. Also with that too. So.
All right. Okay. All right, let me get over to James.
Yeah.
He hasn't said much, so
I know.
let's get him talking on here.
Let's get James talking, man.
All right, I'm here, guys.
James,
I'm just
do you miss
focused.
Puerto Rico?
What's that?
Do you miss Puerto Rico?
Oh, I didn't live there. I went
you've
there
been
a few
there.
times as a kid. Yeah. And I think the last time I was actually there, wow, I was like 17, so it's been a while. Yeah, my family's gone.
How old are you now? 54?
Oh wow, thanks, Mel. No, wow, I'm forgetting how old I am. I'm 46 now.
Oh, damn, I was close.
That's when it happened. You start forgetting.
Numbers around would have been 45.
Right on time.
Yeah. But
so
right.
What do you think of the cookies out there?
Oh man, I love it. I know. I hope it's not a spoiler for people at this point. It's been out for a while, but when that episode in Daredevil came out, that was amazing.
That was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I dig that too.
Wait, what scene was that? Was cookies involved?
Yeah, there's.
It's the I don't want to say much, but there's a monologue.
Yeah.
In there, by
okay.
The actor. Yeah, and it's just so good.
Wow. So those who know, they're like, it hits home like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about?
So, I don't know if you knew this, James, but in Hawaii, on the island of Hawaii itself, right, in the area called Hilo, they actually have cookies there.
Oh,
right?
nice.
So we go there quite often, and we've like stayed with friends, and so at night we can hear the cookies, and I love it. I just love it. We went to Puerto Rico once and stayed there, and I didn't know that's where the cookies were from. So when the evening came, they started making their noise. I go, man, I was freaking out because I go, hey, Mom, I think I hear cookies. Is that possible? And then talking to the guy that we were renting the Airbnb from, then he told us the story about how the cookies are originally from there and how they got to Hawaii, being stowaways on a boat.
Yeah.
But that's
because they're like an invasive species, but they're but they're
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like they're just so cute, and a lot of people know about them now because of Bad Bunny. He puts them, like he has a conversation with one in one of his music videos. So it's like a big part with his new album.
Now, did I hear this right? You're a helicopter mechanic?
Yes. Yeah, I was a helicopter mechanic for the Army for about, let's say, 7 years in the Army, and then I did it for another 3 years afterwards as a civilian contractor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's funny because I would always hear you talking about you were in the military. I was like, oh man, this is cool.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I can't talk about it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
At least not here. So I was when I read that, I go, oh, okay, this sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. So how did you get started with into art? Was this something that you always liked, or was this something like you were just like sitting around basically just trying to kill time?
So when I was a kid, I was always drawing and always doing art, and then just like every other kid, I thought. And then I had a group of friends that I would draw with on the weekends and just after class and everything too. And it just didn't really go anywhere. Kind of fell apart. And I had to work at a young age, and I just didn't see myself doing it. And then when I joined the Army, I just stopped drawing. I was like, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I didn't draw again for years. It wasn't until after I got out of the Army is when I finally started getting back into it. And the job I had, they did some layoffs. I had my GI Bill, so I was like, you know what? Let me pick up a pen. This seems pretty fun. I drew something, and
so late.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It wasn't until, let's say, 2013 is when I finally started
What
getting
the
into
heck?
it.
Oh,
Yeah, so really late. Yeah, and I didn't start painting until, like, my very first watercolor painting was in, I think, 2018, 2017.
What?
And yeah, I did like 4, and then I was like, yeah, I don't got time for this. I gotta work. And I took a break from it for a while, and then I got back into it when the pandemic happened. So I finally had some time to work on stuff again. And that's when I did my first Comic-Con,
Wow.
I think in so that was 2021, 2022 when I really started getting into it. And then I had my first Comic-Con in 2022. And it was Emerald City. And then from there I ended up just thinking, like, I was doing pretty good with it, and I got hit up by a few publishers.
okay.
And
Yeah.
then Justin got me. I met Justin at a con, and he liked the Prince painting I did, and he
Yeah.
ended up. I think that's the one that got him to get me on for Ninja Witch.
But you connected because
Yes.
you were in the army.
Yeah. Justin's another Army guy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
Just some
yeah,
interesting stuff.
I could see you guys talking.
Yeah. He's a cool dude, and he's up here in the Pacific Northwest also.
Yeah. He's more in your area.
Yeah. You guys are you're on the East Coast, on the West Coast, right?
We're in SoCal.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I heard the shows there are really good in that area. I haven't done any shows in California. No? Okay.
That's the thing about convention. We're just discussing it with Mel.
Yeah.
But for some people, they say, and they really mean it. They're not lying. They say, "This is like I do so well. This is fantastic." Not as an attendee, but as a as an exhibitor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out, like, for them, just making, let's say, $300, it's like huge for them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Some people
about it, right?
Yeah.
Some people just making table is good enough, and they're happy
Yeah,
with that.
and they do so well. So we realize, like, the spectrum of. Okay, you go ahead, Mel.
Well, I've been doing cons since the late '80s, and so I've gone through these discussions many times. So I don't give my numbers out, and I listen to what people say and stuff, but I always take it with a grain of salt because their business is not like mine, and there's differences, right? Even though if it might be another artist or so, how they handle the business is different from how we handle ours.
Yeah.
So our expectations, our goals are going to be different. So what is successful for that particular person is going to be different from us. So they have their numbers that they need to hit. We have ours, and it's just a different game. It might be similar, but the numbers are going to be different. So
and then there's some shows that it's just different for different people too. Like I had a friend that I've done shows with, and she usually does double what I make, and then we did a show together, and I ended up making double what she made. So you never really know. It's just sometimes it just
so
works
you
out
take it with a
that way.
grain of salt, And let's be honest, I don't know if this guy's telling me the truth or not. Some guys, there are people that do like to inflate their numbers or inflate what they're really doing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'd rather not play that game, and that's why I don't really like to say like what I'm actually doing. I'll just give like a simple answer. Yeah, I did good. It was a good show.
Yeah,
it was great.
But it was good. Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Take a look at what everybody has on their art, and let's see where everything stands. Let's start with Mog.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's actually
putting in some of the-
looking not bad.
Really
Some color
not
in
bad.
there. All right, so we're still looking for a 150 bid on that. You want to do that? You can go ahead and put that into the comments. Now let's
Mog,
go.
are you doing watercolor or is that
Copics?
Right, because of the
Copic?
sketch cover, what I do is
Yeah.
I do a base of Copics and then I do paint over. But if I had a choice, like if I had a choice of paper, I would always do watercolor first and then I do something on top as a base.
Yeah.
You know how sketch covers are, like the paper is kind of crappy. So
Yeah. Yeah. I actually haven't drawn on one myself, but I've gotten some from other artists. And I kind of see the quality, especially back before. But the newer stuff, I've seen some that are really cool.
yeah, if you do watercolor, it's gonna go janky. So gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Jean-Paul.
Yeah, I'm doing all the positive and negative space. I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna go in here with the detail and hit this white and start hitting these textures.
Cool.
Look at that.
It's coming along. It's coming along.
That's what
in and out of the fitting in and out of the background. So
There you go. Still looking for a bit of 100 on that. Was it?
Yeah.
100. If you want that absolute Wonder Woman, $100 might be able to take it home. Okay. And I don't believe we've got any bids yet, so everything is still up for grabs. And now let's take a look at the Goblin Queen from James. And he's laying down the colors on there.
Yeah, this is just the first layer, and then I would start hitting it up with the darker colors and everything afterwards, just kind of blending things in right now.
Okay. That too, we're looking for a bit of $100. So if you want that, just go ahead and say Goblin Queen, $100.
You know what's interesting about James' technique is that he's rendering it in pencil first, the values, and he's just overlaying it with color. Because usually I don't do that. I'll just do the darks.
A lot of artists do that.
I don't always do it that way. I change up how I do it. Sometimes I'll almost completely erase the pencils because pencil lines can change the color of certain watercolors. So I try not to do it all the time. Like sometimes yellow will come out looking kind of greenish because it grays it out.
Yeah, yellow ends up looking really weird.
Yeah. So I don't always do it this way, but I think with these colors I can make it work. Because with green, it just kind of it looks purple because it's gray. So yeah, it usually looks like the opposite color to it. Sorry, I'm gonna nerd out talking about color if I keep going.
Nothing wrong with that. But what size, Jean-Paul? What size is that Wonder Woman that you're working on?
11 by 17.
11 by 17. Wow, that's a really good size. And it's got a bid from the lieutenant. Hits it off with $100.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo!
Yay.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I salute you. All right. And again, so if you do want to shot at that Wonder Woman, we're now looking for a bit of a 105 to take that. The Emma Frost, the Fairyland Emma Frost is still available. Looking for an opening bid of 150, and looking for an opening bid on the Goblin Queen for 100, and for I keep forgetting what the second one is again.
Storm
for 150. Yes. Okay. Can we see the Storm piece again, James?
Yeah. Let me grab that. I cover it up so I don't get any paint on it while I'm working. Right. I tend to get a little messy sometimes with the paint.
Yeah, water does that. It splashes everywhere.
There
you go. Storm. With her nice little mohawk cut there.
Yeah, I was going with the X-Men 97 Storm. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool show. And then the voice actors are going to be at the con I'm doing pretty soon. And same with another con, one of the original creators is going to be there.
Okay.
I think we need a break.
No, not yet.
Oh.
About 20 more minutes.
Really? Because did we do a break already?
We did a first break at 7:30.
7:30?
Yeah.
So 8 o'clock?
8:30. We will have our next break. That's
1
in
hour?
20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is our format. All right. Now let's go to Mr.
Okay.
Michael Odin.
Oh, what did I do?
Nothing yet, and that's why we're hitting you up next. Although we had a good discussion on the summarize, and we might get back to that. We'll see what happens here. All right. So Elysian Fields, you put that out earlier, okay, and now you've come back to do it. You've revamped everything. Why?
I mean, we actually talked about this while you were having the thing. But to reiterate, as I said, I'd started the first book. We'd had a solid amount of success. The second book we funded, but we didn't have near the backer return, and there just didn't really seem to be interest in doing more. And so I had focused on other things in my career. Shortly after Pyramid Gambit, I had my idea for the Embrace, which really took off. So I've been focusing on all sorts of other things in my career since then. And about a year and a half ago, I was doing promotion, I think on Judex, that I had done with my friends over at Global Frequency Studios. And I had somebody ask me about when I was going to do more Elysian Field stuff. I was like, that chapter's closed. I had a few people ask me about it, and then I went and I looked back at the webtoon where I had posted the original series, and we had gotten some really good feedback. And so I decided that, okay, well, maybe it's time to come back and revisit this. But if I'm going to do this, I'm going to apply everything that I've learned over the last 5 years, completely revamp the script, grab a new art team to really make it stand out, and just give it a whole creative overhaul. That seems to have done pretty well. We have a beautiful, beautiful book. Elysian Fields Reborn issue 1 is, 44 pages of story. We've got an 8.5 by 11 prestige format. So it really, the art just sings. It's been one of the coolest things of my career to kind of see how this has come full circle the way that it has.
Yeah, the artwork looks great. Where's your Kickstarter at now?
So right now we're at 4,800. We've got 12 days left. So we've crossed 3 of our stretch goals. We've upgraded. Our main cover is going to now be a lava holofoil, which is really cool. And we're 200 away from upgrading our V. Ken Marion cover to being a silver holofoil, which it looks gorgeous. Mog's is Mog's shaking her. Oh, we got another bid, I think is what she's pointing to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw her shaking her head. I was like, oh no, did I say something wrong?
Oh no, it's not you. It's not you. It was towards
me.
It was towards Mel.
Okay.
It's at the edge.
Where?
It's at the very edge. Mel, it's at the very last one.
Okay. This. All right. I kind of toggled this, and I lost the screen for it. But yeah, we did get another bid on Storm for 150 from Butter5. Butter5 is placed at 150 bid. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Butter5.
Okay, so we are looking for an opening bid on Emma Frost for 150 and $100 on the Absolute Wonder Woman, which is looking really good.
Actually, Wonder Woman already has somebody as a top Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Wonder Woman has a bid. So we're looking for a bid on Goblin Queen. That's what I meant to say, for 100. Okay, there you go. Okay. I think you made a good choice there, Michael. Looking at it, the artwork is big improvement. It looks phenomenal. So I hope that it does well for you. So what else do you have planned? Because now it looks like you're coming back and you kind of like on this revived energy coming back. Because you were kind of seemed like you were just kind of like floating around for a little bit, and now you've come back strong.
Yeah. Well, so when I started in 2020, I had some initial success, and then as I said, I had some setbacks, but I had a big blow up character called the Embrace that was kind of a dark superhero story. Mm-hmm. That's done really well, and now I'm really like I've done a whole bunch of side things since, but now I'm really trying to focus my career into Elysian Fields and the Embrace. Elysian Fields is going to be like my ongoing. I have that mapped out for 30 issues. If we can get there. And then the Embrace is a mini series with a lot of spin-off potential as well. Like it's really cool to see how things are coming together. And I've actually started to do some conventions this year as well. I was down in Shenandoah Comic-Con here a couple weeks ago, and really receptive. I'm going to be in Biglit Comic-Con in Fairfax.
Okay.
2 weekends from now. Very much looking forward to that. It's been really cool to kind of go out there and talk to actual fans. Most of what I've done at this point has been, digital marketing, lots of YouTube shows, going out there.
You've been all over the place. You were just on last night too.
And so like that was the whole thing is I was just trying to I'm like I've always been one of those people that tries to go out there and meet new people and talk about the books, but there's definitely a different feeling where you're actually at a show and talking to somebody about these stories and what they mean to you, and getting them excited about the storytelling you're doing has been really cool and very surreal.
Okay. All right. Great. That is. I'm glad that you're coming back here a lot stronger. You've got relaunching of Elysian Fields looks really great, as I said. So I wish you good luck on that. Where can they? You see, your campaign is on Kickstarter. Okay.
Yes, obviously, yes.
And so if you want to back that, definitely worth checking that out. The costumes, the designs in there, they're beautiful. So give that a gander, take a look, back it if you can. If not, share and like it as well. And James, how can they find you?
Mainly I post on Instagram. That's the easiest way of getting a hold of me. I don't go on Facebook too often anymore. It's been a while. I did post today for the show, but I'm not usually on there anymore. But Instagram's the main place to find me. Coming up, I'll be at Lilac City Comic-Con. That is June 7th and 8th, I believe. And that is in Spokane, Washington. And then in, I think, June 21st to the 23rd, that is SummerCon, yes. And SummerCon is in Puyallup, Washington.
Yep.
SummerCon is I'm looking forward to that one. That one was a great show last year. It was my first time doing it last year. And then they're pretty well known for having amazing guest lineup for that show. Which people kind of worry for that to take away from the comic artists that go, and also for the the artist alley and everything. But I don't know. I think it brings the people in, and they really like going to the artist alley there.
I've heard that many times before. Justin says it all the time as well.
Yeah.
And same with Christopher Dorsey, Christopher Michael Dorsey. He says the same thing too. He's down there too, and I hear it from some of the other customers that we get up there in the Northwest. So the problem is that
Tom likes that one from Committed Comics.
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Tom from Committed Comics, he really likes going to that one too.
Him too. I was just talking to him earlier today too. But it's they do it at the same time as Heroes Con, and that's the problem that I have.
Okay. So, that's the one that's in
Charlotte,
North Carolina. Yeah.
So maybe I'll do Charlotte a couple more times and then switch off and go over there. This year they're bringing us in for a guest, so I couldn't turn that down. But I keep hearing good things about Washington, so if any guys want to give that a shot, go check it out. It's might be coming better than Rose City. That's something you may want to consider. Okay, we have 8:22, so why don't we take a break at this time, and we'll be right back with James, Michael, and Jean-Paul.
Woo. Boring old Tuesday. Kick it!
Hey, let's get to it.
Henri Copen scours collections and comic shops to bring you the biggest deals on beautiful comics.
I'm very eager to sell these books.
Plus, he smashes those other boring sales shows. Henri's got fire, excitement, personality, key books, Momo books,
Sexy Momo books for you.
a cute dog, weird accents,
69, bro.
a wheel of skid bark.
We do wheel spins at the end of every show.
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll score huge bargains.
That is Hawk Tua magic right there, all right?
Kicking it with Henri, Tuesday nights, part of the experience.
Twitch, it's not just what happens when you have too many energy drinks anymore. Check out our content over there too.
Sure, comic books are beautiful, but underneath, there's something more authentic and exciting. The original art. See the pencils, the lines, the shading, as if you were there in the studio watching the artist work. Getting a peek at comics' backstage is easy with the original art experience.
All right, Friday night, guys. Thank you for being here. To be doing anything, the fact that you're here means the world to me.
Nick's pieces are always value priced with your budget in mind, for the beginning collector to the veteran.
And this is gorgeous. You got Aquaman and Mira.
Join the original art experience with Nick and our friendly crew of regulars, even if it's just to enjoy the art. Fridays at 7. It's all part of the experience.
Welcome back, everybody. Do you guys see that comment there by Nick Marucci? He was jumping in to say hi and asking everybody to hit that thumbs up. Yeah. Be sure to catch his show, too, every Friday nights for the original art show. If you want to get started in art, that's a great place to get started and pick up some really nice pieces, even from legendary artists. Good stuff there. Good stuff. All right. No new bids. So we've got a $100 bid on the Wonder Woman and a $150 bid on the Storm. Thank you, gentlemen, for that. Thank you. Don't forget to fill out the magic form when that pops up, so that way we know where to send everything to. Right? And if you saw my message earlier, then you know that I am all caught up with shipping. That was I think that was almost like 8 or 10 weeks of stuff that I didn't ship out. So I'm so glad to get that out of the way. The only one that I haven't taken care of yet is Steve Vendetta, and I'm waiting for a package. Once that comes in, I will be hitting you up, buddy. So get your credit card ready. I'm going to run it up. Okay. Steve Vendetta, jumping Nick Joseph. No, you can't. Never mind. It's that bill is coming. All right. Mike, weren't you? You're in the military too.
Yeah, I was. I was an infantryman. 6 years.
Yeah.
Army National.
That, and part of your inspiration was you were drawing on that when you were doing Elysian Fields.
I would say that there's definitely some elements with certain things. Obviously, you have a team dynamic, which if you served in the military, you pay to you have all sorts of different people in any given squad or platoon or anything like that. But when it comes down to Elysian Field, it's definitely more of a it's Mortal Kombat with heroes of mythology. It's very larger than life combat. And I'm drawing way more from mythic stories and stuff like that. You've got in the first book, our story centers on Achilles, and so he ends up getting brought to this arena where he's fighting alongside Heracles and Hippolyta against Gilgamesh and Enkidu from Sumerian myth. So it's one of these things where it's very much more on the larger than life aspect. I think that there have definitely been projects where I draw a lot from my military experience. I did this script a while ago for Global Frequency Studios called Maverick's Miss. That was very, very heavily informed by my time in the military in terms of squad dynamics. I even based a lot of the characters off of people I served with, which was really cool. Hoping to see that story get done at some point. I know that Neff and them have been crazy busy over there, and so looking forward to seeing that get done at some point. But it's definitely one of those things where the military does provide you a lot of experiences that you can draw from creatively. The Elysian Fields is definitely more driven by, my love of mythology and history and all of this other stuff. So it's been really cool to do, and go, and it gives you an excuse when you're doing research to go and read and what have you up on all these really cool characters and the stories that they come from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I do like that when a little bit of history is mixed in. You get some really good material. Okay. Mog, by the way, just went out to walk our little dog that's taken care of for a while. So she'll be. Oh, she's back now. Okay.
Woo!
All right. Getting that together. All right. So we are still looking for more bids, guys. If you can, put those to the comments. And all right, so one of the hot topics this week is Philbo Publishing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you guys think about that?
What was the topic?
Philbo Publishing.
Oh, I didn't hear about it.
So it's specifically Phil Russert, who is another indie creator. That has his own imprint, Philbo Publishing. He has worked very hard to get a hold of the contact information of all of the comic book stores in the domestic United States and Canada.
Okay.
And so he is starting a comic distribution business, and he is bringing in indie creators, offering way better and competitive percentage rates than Diamond was.
Yeah.
And so it's been like a big thing. Now I'm very humbled to be considered for one of the initial waves of this. I unfortunately had to decline, not because the deal wasn't good, because what he's offering is very good. I just couldn't keep up with the production cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the content to fill shelves on and I didn't want to be breaching contract. Like he's in a very early development, like early stages of this. So like if something goes wrong, like that could hurt everybody. If people aren't getting the books out for distribution and everything like that, that could sour relations with the stores. And I'm not going to be the guy that screws that up. But in terms of what he's offering, I'm fairly certain. I can't speak to percentages because that's something that should be done between him as the distributer and you as the potential client. And that's going to depend on how many series that you guys have and all of that, and that would be negotiated. But effectively, you would provide your shipping. Like you would provide your copies of the books. He would get them shipped out to the stores, and he puts together effectively a distribution catalog, and you determine your release window, and he creates a solicitation, and he does all of that. He gets it out to the stores, and he's got contacts with everybody. And so I think that it's a really cool thing, especially considering that we don't know what's happening with Diamond with its new owners. We have no idea if they're going to maintain the current model, or there are a lot of rumors given their new owners penchant for doing a lot of collectible stuff that they might shift away from single floppy book issues to trade paperback collections, which is a very difficult thing for smaller indie guys to be just throwing right out the gate.
Right.
So Phil's offering a very good alternative, I think.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I want to support it, but I hope he succeeds, because I don't know. It's like he's filling in the gap that's vacant from Diamond.
It is a big pair of shoes. There's a lot of questions, and I don't mean to put Phil down. Okay, we've had Phil on the show. He's a good guy, and I know he means well, and he wants to. He likes to help, wherever he can, and you'll find him that he's a very generous guy. But it's one thing to be handling fulfillment on your own Kickstarters, but it's another thing to be fulfilling an industry. Now we're only talking about the indies, okay? But as a whole, that's a big order. You're gonna need to put a team together once you get the volume up there, and it seems like people are signing up fast, because I've seen like Xenoscope has already come on. Billy Tucci, who's a neighbor, I believe, that lives across the street from him, so he was easy to get. Yeah, it looks like he was the first one to come on there. He's got Counterpoint as well. That's Murat Michaels, and how, and that's a pretty good name to have there. And other people are coming on. So more power to him for doing this. I like the fact that he's creating at least a center where this information about these indies, you can go to one place to find out and place an order, right? And that's the big advantage to all that, right? So the information is getting centralized, because the other spectrum of that is opening an account with every freaking company that's out there that you want to order from, and then trying to track all that. That is a big headache to try and do as a store owner, right? You've already got a varied amount of accounts that you're dealing with for other things, for toys and other products and all that.
Mel.
Yeah.
You were a store owner at one point, weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so I was wondering why you were so familiar with this whole thing. So.
Yeah, I had a store. Started out, I think it was, I can't remember the year. It was like 88, 89 or something like that. And then we got into a second one later on. I think it was like 95. I was also, I started out originally as a dealer, just doing like comic shows and all that before I got then shortly got the store. Had a very, very good run through the whole 90s, and a bunch of like other things that I got into. Ended up closing everything in 2006. That included having a production company with my partner Cedric Nocon, who used to do. I think he did a couple of issues of Uncanny X-Men. Did a lot of image stuff, so forth and blah blah blah. So yeah. And like I said, I've been collecting from the early 70s, so I've got a good amount of experience on several aspects of the industry.
Yeah.
I want to thank a bid. We got a bid on Storm for 160, and the Wonder Woman has now jumped to 120 with the Lieutenant.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for that.
I am almost done. I'm just putting on her tattoos, and I think that's a wrap.
Woohoo!
Forgot her tattoos, so we're doing that now.
What I will say is Phil does have a lot of this stuff that you're talking about in place. It seems like obviously I found it interesting as there have been a lot of people asking him to like share the lists of the retailers and what have you, and it's like that's not his place to that goes against his interest to hand those out, but like be, as someone who has earned those things, you don't just hand that information out for everybody, right? Like that would be the same thing as me giving the backer list of my campaign to another creator.
Right.
It's iffy.
Diamond actually put the list out there, so you can actually there is a way to get that list.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's how Phil got it. Yeah, in fact, Ilya just confirmed it there. Diamond did put the list.
Oh, wow.
They made it public.
Yeah.
Right? So
It's an important note to make that the list that Diamond published is not an accurate list.
Exactly.
Because it includes a number of people who have not been in the industry in over 20 years, people who are authorized buyers and payers on accounts that have been closed for years. And there are many, many stores that were not on the list that should have been.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Okay, but with that said, though, right, I figure having that list is better than having no list.
Why would they do that, though? Why would they give misinformation?
It was ordered by the judge in the settlement that Diamond had to put out all their clients.
No, but why would they give misinformation, though?
It's less of them trying to give misinformation and more likely that Diamond just didn't do a good job of just like cleaning up and making sure that their list was current.
Yeah.
Well, what they actually did, because I'm on the list and got the disclosures, was they had to pull from 6 different databases, not all of which were active user databases.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So it became this idea of anyone who needed to get the legal disclosures on the bankruptcy had to be on the list, even if they were no longer active.
There you go.
That's interesting.
There, we got the clarification on that. All right, so let me bring you guys up to date on the art pieces right now. We got a bid for Wonder Woman at 140, and Storm is at 160. Okay, and both bids are owned by the Lieutenant at the moment. All right.
All right.
We are still looking for a bid on Goblin Queen and Emma Frost. There you go. Kyle, did you send my Green Zone and Walking Dead giveaways to Mel? We'll let Kyle answer it, but that is, I believe that is what I'm waiting for. Once I do get that, Steve, I will be contacting you. When you get a chance, maybe you can fill out that magic form. At least give me your email address in there, so that way I can contact you. All right. Okay. Anything else you guys want to add about Filbo Publishing?
I don't know. I just heard about it now. So for me, I don't. What about you? Do you have something to say, Mel?
I said my piece. Like I said, I think it's a challenge, and there are mistakes are going to be made, right? And because there's going to be some growing pains, but if Phil can pull it off, it's going to be good for everyone. So I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, I think after listening to Michael's explanation about it, I'm Team Michael here. I think we're all Team Michael so far. I think we're pretty much saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like Committed Comics is going to sign up on there. When I was talking to Thomas earlier today, so yeah, he's going to be there.
Nice.
Mel has it already.
He's certainly put together a pretty impressive list of people, and it will continue to grow. But he's making sure that he's building this in the right way. I think too, he's limiting himself right now for literally the reason why you said, Mel, is this is a massive undertaking, and right now it's important to build trust. So he's making sure that he's not taking on everyone in the world. He is being a bit more selective. He's I think his goal is to have 20 people to handle initially, and then as it grows, he's able to build out and bring more people in. And I think that's the smart way to do it. You don't eat an elephant in one sitting. You have to break it down into smaller chunks. And I think that the smart way to do it is to keep it to a small group of creators initially, and make sure that you're able to manage the.
There you go. That is the smart move.
Yeah,
that is the smart move. Okay.
I think that's the thing is he is well aware that he's starting grassroots right now. He's starting from a small level, so he is making sure that he is handling this in a capacity where he can ensure that
you're giving the kind of quality of service that's needed for this, and to maintain that trust. So you can make your errors here, and the impact won't be as great. Whereas if you have a large clientele that just comes on, the few mistakes that you might make can be costly and hurt you to possibly close back down, and then we're back to square one again. And so that is the smart move.
I think Phil's going about this in 100% the right way, and he's got the right headspace on it. Like he's not treating I've been doing indie stuff for 5 years, and I've seen tons of people try and do distribution things, get special deals for retailers, whether it's Walmart, Spencer's, what have you, and I've seen it blow up in their faces all the time because they allow their enthusiasm to cloud their judgment. And I think Phil has the advantage of he's seen a lot of those things too. And so there's obviously the lessons that can be learned from those mistakes. But he's not one to go off half-cocked, right? He is the kind of person that he is doing this because he feels like he is confident that he can do it. It's going to be tough, absolutely, but nothing in life worth doing is without risk or struggle.
And that's something that he's familiar with, taking risks. So they're good on him for that. And as Kyle writes here, anyone entering into distribution in a world where Lunar and Penguin are rapidly expanding, and that Universal is entering in the near future, has got to come correct, or you will be out quickly. And that's for sure. Okay, you will not last. So if you're gonna make this move, you gotta give your best shot to get it right. There's not too much room for errors there. Very, very little. All right, so we got 8:45. Let's take a look around the room again at the art and see where we are.
Wow.
That is sick.
That is sweet. And no wonder the bid is at 140 on that by the lieutenant.
Dude.
And I gotta say that 140 for that is undervalued. Okay?
So much energy.
Yeah.
It's a great piece, man.
That's a lot of black laid down there too, man.
Oh yeah. I'm a fan.
You're gonna have to refill that bottle soon.
Yeah.
I
how often do you go through bottles of ink?
I mean, yeah, I have a couple stacks, so I buy them in bulk. I buy bottles at a time.
What do you use?
I literally exhausted one of my pens doing this. I had to go to a straight brush because the ink, I didn't want to refill time and stuff, so I just went to the brush. But yeah.
You know, for brushes, do you use like the expensive Sable Kolinsky?
Yes. I try not to because they're expensive and they don't go anywhere. But I have brush pens that I use. I use my stuff is a combination of, I tend to like the Winsor Newton Series 7, this one, and I could do a whole book with this alone. But I also have Crow Quill, I have brush pens, and I do a lot of dry. I do a lot of dry brushing too. So they all come into play depending on if I'm in the mood.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like a lot of the white I do with a brush. Sometimes I do a correction pen. It just all depends on the line quality I'm getting.
The beautiful part about using those Kolinsky is that I was actually talking to Jay Lee about this. They're so good at laying down the ink.
Yeah.
But the really crappy part is they're expensive, and because you're using ink on a Sable brush, you will ruin the brush pretty fast.
Yeah.
So you have to go through it a lot.
Yeah.
So how often do you go through your brushes then?
I beat them up. I use until the wheels fall off. I have to be they have to be really bad shape. But I'm stabbing them, and I'm using. I use the same brush for a fine line that I use to like. So I will beat the brush up because I learned a long time ago they're going to go anyway. So you might as well get as much use out of them as you can. And I don't really throw them away. So I have a bunch of older brushes. So when I need to do something heavy or something that's going to damage maybe my newest brush, I'll just go to the older one and kind of do that. And then I have the brush pen and more the Pro Quill as a go-to if it's 3 a.m. and I'm working on something and the brush dies. I have something I have to back it up with, and that's when that comes in. So my preference is, in the perfect world, these things fall out. I have a tree outside I can just pick a brush from. But when that's not the reality situation, I have backups that I can use that will do the same thing for me. So yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Make it last.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Make it last. They're not cheap, so you got to make them last as long as you can.
I mean, I wash them, I condition them, I treat them like hair. I mean, they're hair, right? But I literally have a bottle of conditioner on my art table. When I brush it, I literally put a conditioner on it and close it up and put it away. So
did you try all kinds of products to clean it?
I used to use the brush cleaner that you take and you wipe around and it cleans that off, and that was good. But regular dishwashing liquid does the job.
Yeah,
I found it. Like soap will do the job. It's so
nice.
There's been a bid war on this piece while you guys were chatting.
Yeah.
It's up to 225 now.
Right now.
Okay.
There you go. Let's take a look at Goblin Queen.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Really
it's working it on there.
Evil green flames coming out.
And Storm just got a bid for 180.
Yep, got that.
Nice.
Thank you, Butterfly.
And
let us take a look at the storm.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to bring that out again.
Oh, yeah. Don't put it far away.
Yeah, I just got to cover it up because I don't want to spill any paint on it.
Right. There you go.
There we
All
go.
right. Storm is at 180.
I think somebody drew Storm 200.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to correct that right there, Lieutenant.
There
we
you
go.
go.
Storm jumps to 200.
Woohoo!
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Love the action here.
I really like. Somebody said 201.5.
Sorry, Smith, but that is an unacceptable bid. We take bids in increments of 5.
Or minimum?
Yeah, at least a minimum of 5.
Okay. Sorry, Smith.
So you could go 206 if you wanted to.
Or 205.
No pennies, no
Yeah.
cents, right? It's dollars.
Let's just do it 205. Because otherwise everyone's going to start doing math. Like 206 plus 5 is 211. 211 plus 5 is...
Don't change the rules, Mom. Okay, that's what we've had. That's what we're going to stick with. We're not going to change it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And now let's take a look at what else do we got? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Increments of 69 for Mark.
Yeah, you could go.
That's great.
Okay, but we are still looking for a bid of
$69.
150
Yeah.
on this. And
Yeah.
you are covering this. Okay. Okay, I'm just like reading some of the comments here. Inks by Earl Scheib. That's why I won't bid any higher than $99.99. I'm lost there, Stevie B. I'm not sure what you're talking about or trying to bid on. Sorry, buddy. And okay. All right, so we've got like 3 more minutes is left.
Ooh.
Right, so one more time, let's go around the room. Let us know where they can find your current projects and where they can, if you've got a website, where they can get additional product from you or best way to contact you. Starting with Jean-Paul.
My website is blackberryjuice.net. I will try to name off all my social media, but I don't know if that's right off the brain. So all the social links are on my website, and that is the best way to get in contact with me anyway. So just head over to blackberryjuice.net. All my Sons of Fate stuff is there. I have a free membership page that gives you a preview to my next comic, and everything else is there. If you have any questions or comments, my store is there. Everything you need, blackberryjuice.net.
Right on.
Awesome.
And Michael.
So on Kickstarter, we have Elysian Fields Reborn going on right now. As I said, we've got 12 days left. And then if you're looking to follow me on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, it's 9 Realms Publishing, which is and then I think Instagram it's at 9RP Comics. And then on Twitter, if you want to hear me complain about things like the set photos from Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, you can follow me at Elysian Fields _0. I've been venting a lot about that recently, and occasionally terrible takes on the Iliad. So if you want to hear any of those, that you will find me there for sure. But otherwise, please come support us on Elysian Fields Reborn issue 1. We have a very exciting story for you guys, and you're not going to want to miss out.
All out action. Okay, and then you, James?
Yes, just mainly, like I was saying earlier, on Instagram is where I mainly post, and then they could also find me on my website. I try to keep it up to date on what cons I'm doing. I need to update it for the rest of this year. I haven't done that yet. And then I have a couple cons coming up. Hopefully I get into a couple more. And so I regularly post on my Instagram like what events I got coming up.
Fantastic. Okay, great. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. This was very interesting episode. We covered a lot of ground.
Yes.
Next week, we have Arthur Gouin, who is an animator on Futurama and Simpsons. He just closed out his series, California Inc., and we'll be hearing about that. His artist on that series, Dave Law, will be joining us as well. And Dave has been on our show a few times, but it has been a while.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get caught up with him along with California Inc. And also joining the group will be Austin Eckert. And he's somebody new that we're bringing to the show. Does some fantastic artwork, and we're very proud to bring him to you guys.
Yes.
Let's see. And Smith Bobart Confederacy placed a bid of $2.25 on Storm, so we will accept that and drop to 50 cents. And so
Lieutenant already had it at $2.25.
Yeah. I was about to say the other guy did that as kind of a joke.
Okay, got it. Great. Thank you very much for that, guys. So again, I want to thank you everybody for joining us, and hopefully you'll join us next week. And we might have a special guest once we can confirm that. Watch for our graphic ads, and we'll announce that to you. All right, guys. Thanks again. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you guys in 1 week.
Thank you.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.